Hey, what's up, everybody, and welcome to the Celebrate Columbus show. My name is Josh Burnett, and as you can see, we've got a very special guest with us today. We are talking with our Mayor of Columbus, Mary Ferdon. Thank you, Mayor, for being here today.
Well, thank you, and welcome to Columbus City Hall.
Yeah,
Great to have you here.
it's a great place to visit, and I hope if you haven't been here for some reason that you'll come and be a part of it, because it's a really special building with a lot of great people. Well, today we're going to be talking about the state of the city.
Right.
But before we do, I'd love for people, maybe they're getting to see you for the first time, and could you tell us a little bit about yourself and maybe how you became mayor?
I sure will, but before we do that, let me start by just saying congratulations again for getting Celebrate Columbus back up and going.
Thank you.
You started it, I think, in 2016.
Yep.
And really missed it when you stepped back for a while, so it's great to have you here.
Thank you. I'm glad to celebrate Columbus and celebrate all that you're doing.
Wonderful. So that's our goal, is to celebrate Columbus
Yes.
every day.
Yes.
So yes, I am starting my third year in my first term. Have been living in Columbus for well over 32, 33 years with my husband, Steve. We raised two boys here. I say this all the time. I haven't been able to get them to come back and live in Columbus, but I try all the time. But I'm fortunate they're doing well. I've got two grandchildren and another one on the way. So life is good in the Ferdon household.
Exciting times.
It is.
And I know you, as well as so many of our city employees, have been working very hard during this winter season. But we're here today to talk about the state of the city.
Right.
And I love going to the state of the city, and I'm looking forward to your speech this year. Could you maybe give us a preview of some of the things that you might talk about, or the great things that have happened over the last year and where we're headed?
Sure. And I'm going to end my speech next Tuesday night by saying the state of the city is strong. And so I feel very strongly that it is, and that we've accomplished a lot the last year. And I will segue into the state of the city by saying what makes us stronger is the employees that we have as far as the city itself. You just alluded to the winter weather that we've had the past couple of weeks. And I haven't been out doing anything with it. We have amazing crews and who work diligently, who many of them long hours in the extreme cold, and have done a remarkable job. So thank you to those who have reached out and thanked them. They need to hear that, because sometimes we just hear the complaints. But I have to tell you, as I've driven around other communities, I'm really proud of the work that the Columbus crews did. Back to the state of the city.
Yeah.
We are going to celebrate a lot of the things we've accomplished this past year. We're going to talk about public safety. Our police department has been reaccredited, which is a big deal. Only about 5% of communities in the country go through the very lengthy accreditation process. And we do it because we want our police force to be strong. We want them to be successful in taking care of the citizens, as well as using the best practices in policing that we can.
Mm-hmm.
Community policing is really important, and we want citizens to respect the work that they do and to trust them, and then to let us know when things don't go right. So we're going to celebrate that. We're going to talk a lot about what we went through with other weather events about a year ago, right, with the flooding and some of our wind events, and the great work that the firefighters did with that. We'll also talk a lot about housing and city council, and remind you, Josh Burnett, as one of our at-large city council members, you've spent a lot of time helping us try to add more housing to the community, which is very much needed. And so we're excited because we've got the project on 11th and Washington is up and moving, and I think that's about 120 housing units going forward.
That's great.
And then we have two affordable housing projects. One, Thrive Alliance is doing, adding, I think, 65 units. And then we have the Flats on 14th, which is another, I want to say 120 units. And you can cut it out if I'm wrong.
No, it's
right
around
so,
there.
And then we've got a couple of other developments that we're working with. So housing is a priority. I know it is for City Council.
Yep.
And we continue to prioritize that.
Yeah. As I think through, the things that we've gotten to work on, I never knew when I got to be on city council and serve with you that housing was going to be such a huge thing, but understand the need as well as appreciate, anytime we can have that opportunity to add more housing, because we want people to live here, to work here, to spend their dollars here so that we can best serve them. And I know that, there have been challenges with, things at the state level, and we're doing all that we can to try to, keep Columbus moving in a great direction. When you started, when you were running for mayor, you talked about we're going to get stuff done.
Right.
And I know that you guys have been very busy getting some stuff done. Are there anything else that, you're excited about maybe that's coming up this year?
Right. So, and this actually kind of bleeds over from the housing discussion is back in '24, we started the process of looking at our downtown. And we coined the phrase Columbus Downtown 2030 with the goal to have a plan, a design that we can start implementing so that by 2030 the downtown starts looking different, even though some of the things that we're going to be doing take a long time. So that plan was kind of completed in 2025, and we have about 40 volunteers who've spent a lot of time over the past year and will continue to look at a lot of the recommendations that came out of it. Our designer had 50 recommendations. Then Columbus jumped in and the community, as you would imagine, and now we have 60 plus recommendations.
Oh my goodness.
Right? So, but some of those do have to do with housing. And so the goal is really to get moving forward with some of those housing projects, to finding the right developers and doing that. But we also had a couple of other ideas, and one of them we tried a pilot this year, which with the winter market over at the former Sears building, and hopefully a number of your viewers have been there.
Yep.
And the design has a winter market building in it, and so before we build something like that, let's see if it's something that would be used or needed.
Right.
And so I think we've had 4 sessions, and we have another, and I've just been amazed at the number of people who've come out to those. They're set up similar to a summer farmers market. We've had 50 vendors, hundreds and hundreds of people. We have a lot of kids events, adults events, game rooms, the old-fashioned game rooms, which has been fun to watch people. Food, drink, music, and it really just goes to show that 2 things. One is obviously in the winter we like to have something to do on a Saturday, but the biggest thing is people are very energized at being able to come downtown and then go use the restaurants and the retailers afterwards. And that's what we hear on the feedback is just they love being able to talk to people, see their neighbors, which is hard to do sometimes in the winter. So Columbus Downtown 2030, the implementation is a huge priority because the community said it was.
Yeah.
We often talk about kind of being the heart of a community, and I think it is. But the caveat is it has to have something for everybody.
Right.
And so that's what we really try to focus on.
Yeah, I was really excited to get to talk with Ike DeClue and to talk about that Sears indoor winter market. And, we already have such a successful summer outdoor farmers market. And I thought that was a really cool idea to bring people together and, support our small businesses as well as, give opportunity for community.
Right.
One of the things that my family has been really blessed by is our animal care services. We adopted a dog, Griffey, last year, and we've just loved to have him a part of our family. And whenever I visited over there, we were starting some conversations about animal care and maybe some new things going on there. Could you talk a little bit about that?
Sure. Well, animal care has been good to us, bad to us too, because the Ferdons have adopted 2 sets of cats over the years. So Lewis and Clark came.
Those are great names.
Yeah, we got those about 15 years. Clark has since left us. Lewis is getting old. So a couple of years ago, I brilliantly decided I needed a new cat and came home with 2. So we have Calvin and Hobbes.
Nice.
And they behave exactly like Calvin and Hobbes if you liked the cartoon. So yes, that animal care, the services that we have here are really important to the community. Back in the 1980s, Columbus built an animal care shelter out in the airport property, about 4,500 square feet, which I think they were looking at 30 dogs and 50 cats. We now regularly have 50 plus dogs, plus 90 cats, 70 to 90 cats, plus we have hundreds more fostered out. So the shelter has long outgrown its usefulness, and the bottom line is not only is it too small, but it's a horrible working environment for my employees, and that's what I really, really don't like.
Yeah.
So we've been looking at this for many years prior to COVID, and just recently City Council's been hugely supportive, have started the process of designing and then building a new animal care shelter. Mark and Wendy Elwood have stepped up to the plate and made a great gift to the community, and they've challenged us to match it, and we're almost there. And so this May, in the May timeframe, we'll be breaking ground on the Wendy H. Elwood Animal Care Services Shelter, and very, very excited about that. Again, it's an amenity that the community has asked for. We're using city funds, we're using state ready dollars, we're using private dollars to pay for it, and it will be also built on the airport property directly across the current shelter. And I imagine it will be well used also.
Oh, I'm sure it will. And I've been really impressed with what Nicole and her team have been able to do in the current environment there. But, you know, our community deserves a high quality animal care services, you know, center, shelter. And so I'm glad that we're able to do that. And you spoke to really what Columbus is all about, you know, working together, the public-private partnerships. You've got, you know, people that have been so generous in our community, but it takes everybody, right?
It does.
And so I'm excited about that coming online.
Good. We're also going to talk about the changes to the transportation system. We're changing up our loop system. We're going to be doing some what you would call point-to-point and servicing, and we're also looking at providing services to Waynesboro and Taylorsville, which is something the community's been asking for a while. So stay tuned. We actually start with that in March, and you'll see a lot more marketing about that coming forward.
Well, is there anything else that you would like to talk about before we kind of just wrap things up and, you know, just remind people that we've got the State of the City, February 10th, doors are opening at 5:30, correct?
Right. Correct, and then the address starts at 6. Yeah, the one thing I would just want to focus on too is we have a guest speaker, and I don't always allow that, right?
Yeah.
Because this is my time.
Yeah, it
but,
is.
yeah,
It is.
I'm sharing it because we want to talk about Quest, which is the 2050 visioning process, building the best community in America. And yeah, that's a lofty goal, I get that. But this is a community that has always excelled because we have set the bar high. And we had a group of very concerned and interested community leadership who came to the former mayor, Jim Lenup, back in '23 and said, this is something we want to do, and we think it's something that's important for the community, is to be proactive and very intentional. And that's the word that I use, intentionality, about we can't always control what gets thrown at us, right? What happens at the state level, the federal level, obviously a pandemic, an economic crisis. As a city, we just have to move forward and deal with whatever action comes our way. But we always need to be planning for the future, being intentional about the kind of community that we want to look like. And so Quest is one way to do that. There's been a lot of community engagement already, and you'll hear a lot more about that. And so we're going to talk about that at the State of the City address.
I'm definitely hoping that I can interview someone from Quest in the coming weeks and months ahead, because I'm very excited about you know, that intentional process that you're talking about. And I thought whenever I got to go to that listening session, I really appreciated what you said with, you know, it's important that this comes from the community and not from a political office, because we're going to come and go. But those people that, you know, have chosen to live, work, play, raise their family here, you know, they need to be the ones leading this. So I thought you said that very well.
Their voice matters. And so, again, thank you for saying that. You and I may not be here.
Yeah.
And who knows how long that we'll be in office, but the community that's chosen, to your point, to live here, to have businesses here, to raise their families here, they need to help decide the values that we use going forward.
Yep, I agree completely. Well, I just want to say, Columbus, it's been a pleasure to have our mayor here to be able to talk about the upcoming State of the City. I'm excited. You know, I grew up watching, you know, whether it was at the national level or the state level, but I just didn't always feel a part of it. You know, it's so far away, but to be a part of our State of the City, to get to know and you know, hear our mayor firsthand, and then be able to converse with her, have a relationship. I think that's one of the things that makes Columbus special, is your accessibility, You're always at different events. I mean, I don't know how you keep track of all the things that you go to.
That's the best part of my job is going out and meeting people. Yes, we are accessible, 24/7, it seems like.
Yeah, you definitely are. Well, Celebrate Columbus, thank you for joining us for another episode. Want to make sure that if you can, please come to the State of the City. It's at the Commons,
Right.
February 10th, and your remarks, the event, the program will start at 6 p.m., but the doors open at 5:30.
Right, and we're going to live stream it.
Oh, great.
Also, so on Facebook live stream, so.
Awesome. Well, make sure to tune in. There's always great things going on at the city, and you're looking at one of the biggest reasons why there's so many things getting done here in Columbus. So we'll see you next time.
Thanks.